Okay, we are about ready to get started covering this case. I've sanded it down really nice and smooth, but as you see, I've still got some of the black Tolex under where the clasps and locks are going to be going, and I have a few dark spots here that I still need to sand a little more. I have the interior all sanded, all the nail holes that I filled, I've sanded. You want to get as much of the black spots off. This is the best case that I've stripped of the 4 I've done, because usually they have big black moldy spots and water spots everywhere. And if your case has a lot of darker spots, you might want to put a coat of white primer or some kind of primer on it, because when you put a light colored material over it, your darker spots might show. I'm not saying they for sure would show, but they might show. Okay, I'm about ready to start applying my material, but a couple of things we need to look at. We made this material just a little bit wider, so when we applied the OD coat, it was for sure all the way to the edges, and for sure we had enough material. So I've already cut this edge straight. I'm going to go ahead and cut the other edge of my material straight. And it's just a little bit harder than cutting quilting cotton because you've got the OD coat on it. So I might have to make 2 passes. I think I need a new blade. Okay, we are done with that. Next thing we want to look at is when you look at your box, you've got your lid that sits on nicely. And now we can tell what is the front and the back just because of the impression in the wood. But when you get it covered, you're like, okay, where's the front? Where's the back? Oh, did I get this on backwards? On the bottom of the case, it's flat on the back, totally flat. Then you've got a little lip all the way around the sides and the front where your lid fits on. And the lid has an angled lip all the way around it on the 3 sides, and then the back is just totally flat. So when it goes on, even if you don't have your latches caught, the lid's not going to move around and break your lid because of the 2 pieces of wood that fit into each other. So we need to think about that, and I want my material to be straight when I put it on. And especially if you have a directional fabric, it's really, really important that it looks straight. So I want to follow the bottom line all the way around when I'm applying my material, but I need to fold it over. So I need to mark where I want my line to match up with the area here. So to do that, it's about 1/4 of an inch here that I need to take into account where the material is going to wrap over, and then I want it to wrap down maybe 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. It's totally up to you, but I probably at least want 3/4 of an inch. So 1/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, that is an inch. I'm going to make a mark 1.5 inches just to be safe. So when you make your mark, line up your ruler, and I'm using a pencil because if you use a water-soluble marker, when you apply your glue, it's going to disappear. So just very lightly, just put a line on your fabric so you know exactly where your 1.5 inch mark is so you can get it straight. Doesn't have to be heavy, but the pencil will stay on and you can see it. Oops, I didn't get it quite dark enough at this end. Can hardly see it. Okay, so I've got my line. And one thing I didn't think about, I was lucky. This is directional too. It's no stripes to match or anything like that, but the words are all up this direction. So if I put my mark on the bottom side, it wouldn't have been right. But I have my mark on the top side, so I can line up my mark with the edge of my case as I'm working. But you need to think, do I want my material to go around and overlap? Where do you want it to overlap? If I overlap this in the middle, it's really going to show. Or do I want it to butt up against each other? The red case I did, I had the toe legs butt up against each other. I really like that best. The fabric case I did, I overlapped, and you can see the overlap down the back. So you have to decide where you want your overlap to be or your cut edge. We're going to do a straight cut edge on this one, or I am. But I decided this time, instead of having my cut in the middle, I want my cut to be right near an edge. So as you're looking at the back, it looks like a full piece. When you look from the side, it looks like a full piece of material. And we'll meet our materials right on the corner. So I'm hoping maybe that won't be as noticeable. So I'm gonna get started.